Okay, good morning, everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. Let me know if you guys can hear my audio and see my screen in the chat box. Just give me a little Y or a yes there, just to let me know that it is working. Hope everybody's having a fantastic morning. Looking forward to trading with you guys again. Let's jump right into this. As always, I need to remind you about the risks involved in the market. You can lose all or more than your initial investment if you're not careful. So please be aware of how many pips you're risking on each trade, in addition to how big your lot size is and ultimately how that would affect your account if you were to lose money. So make sure that you're doing that every time that you take a trade. So the elephant in the room today is there's a rate statement, FOMC rate statement that's going to happen today in 3 hours. Projected to raise rates about 0.25%. That should send the dollar lower. So just keep in mind when that happens. The thing is, though, that's pretty much been priced into the dollar already, just because they've known this for a while. Anyway, that's a different topic for another time. I just got to get into our trades right now so we can talk more about that. So right now, a lot of volatility, again, similar to yesterday. So what we got to do is just find whichever pair of the three we like to trade has more liquidity, right? So we just want to find one that, so supply, demand, accumulation, that kind of thing on a 5-minute chart, whichever one looks the best in terms of what I just mentioned, then we'll go with that one. So I'm just going to briefly pull up the euro pound, euro franc, pound franc, and just kind of generally analyze them. It's just taking a second to load here. I apologize. Okay, so I'm going to go to a 5-minute chart. Here's the euro franc on a 5-minute. Recently broke this point of structure right here. That actually looks bullish. So something to be aware of if we're going to trade the euro franc. Actually, yeah, that's okay. So we got that. Is that what we want to do? 1 second, guys. 1 second. Where is it? Probably I already like that already, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and enter long on the euro franc. I know I'm just a tad late to this party, but I'm gonna go ahead and jump into this. I liked it from the start. The other ones might be fine too, but I just like this one just from like I took a quick glance at it and I was like, yeah, that looks good. But so I'm just going to do a starter position right here. Just take a starter position and then, yeah, Euro franc looks good. Euro pound's just going to keep ripping and roaring, I think. But then you've got, let's see, where's the, yeah, pound franc's down here. Let's look at some of these others real quick. So real quickly, the quick item that I liked on this Euro franc, and I saw it immediately, was this right here. So you've got this point of structure, right? And the market broke above that. So that's kind of like saying, hey, we want to go up, we want to send this market higher. So so if it pulls back into some of this liquidity, this is a good sign, right? I'm like, that's a good area to buy. And how do we know it's a good area to buy? Again, because we've got the signal that it's willing to break structure this direction. So the buys make sense. Another area where buys would make sense would obviously be down here, but I specifically like this area because this is the accumulation that created this break right here. So yeah, long on the euro franc to me looks good. And also, in addition to that, I would be interested in putting some buy limits along the way. So I do want to scale into this if it does dip into this accumulation a little bit more, just because, like I said, we got the signal. We just got the signal, the okay from the market to be a buyer right now. So definitely want to be on that side. I hope that kind of makes sense. You definitely want to be on the buy side of this. I mean, you could be on the short side. I mean, because like if you go back and look at, I mean, that's what I always tell you guys that there's always ways to make money, no matter which direction you choose. I just like to pick the side that seems to be easier, right? And is going to reward me as soon as possible. Am I always right? No, but I have a pretty good sense based off of my analysis to be able to determine which way that's going to be. So where would this thing go? My opinion is obviously retest this high, but if it breaks that, the next area, logical area would be like there. But did that area break a point of structure too? That's the question. Yeah, it did. So that's perfect. Yeah, so you got support here. So whatever happened here, there's a little bit of accumulation, very small, but you can see it right there. Whatever they did there is what caused all of this back here, this support line to break. So that's kind of where I would be going with this, which is, 20 pips away. So we can, I mean, anything, even something less than that would be fine, but that's about as far as we'd be willing to go on this trade. And I know I didn't really look at the other ones. I'm sure the other ones were probably good trades too, or could have been good trades, but I do feel good about this one. Let me put it this way. Let's say the market this morning, instead of breaking this level, had come just close to this area right here and then pulled back. Okay, our mind would be thinking, okay, now we got to be selling instead. Okay, we need to be looking for sell opportunities because overall this is bearish, right? And it's not breaking its most recent points of structure. So because it's not breaking them, your mind needs to start thinking we're looking for sells now, not buys. But like I said, we do have the go ahead right now to look for buy opportunities because of what happened over here late last night. I guess this happened. How long ago did this happen? That's 1600 hours. So if we go back over to here, well, I guess it happened about 24 hours ago, technically. Oh yeah, that was the banker's close from yesterday. This was the banker's close trade. Yeah, the market came down. We didn't take this one. Oh yeah, we did take this one. Yeah, because we did the short on the Euro franc. This is what saved us, to be honest. This was our cross pair hedge. We shorted this yesterday. So this point of structure was actually created during the banker's close yesterday, and we've now broken that. So that, again, that's why we have the go ahead to look for buy opportunities. Okay, let's go look at, so here's the euro pound. This thing is ripping and roaring to the upside. And sometimes that's okay. Like, sometimes markets come up here and they keep going up. And you have to kind of determine, well, will it or will it not? And you just have to go get clues, right? So you have to go investigate. You have to go to a higher time frame and do those investigations, right? So here's some investigation for you. Broke structure right there, right? So that's hey, we're breaking structure. Now there is some supply over here, right? So that's something that could send the euro pound lower, but there's also supply up here. So could it go higher? For sure. This one I don't like to balance my trades on something like that. I get kind of nervous when you have this big spike like that. So I don't want to, again, I feel much more comfortable working the euro franc than the euro pound here. If this thing were to pull back, where would it pull back to? Probably into this demand right here. And then you would see it go back up. So is it a great buying spot right now? No. Would I be more comfortable buying than selling? Yeah, I'd rather be a buyer than a seller on this. Just because we're breaking structures, right? But at the same time, this could pull back to here before you get any type of help, right? And that's my big concern with the euro pound. So that's why I did not elect that one today. Anyway, let me go ahead and delete all this stuff. Got a lot of stuff on here. Okay. And then you've got, but if I had to pick a direction, I would be a buyer because again, if I'm a buyer, I do think there's more opportunity for me to fix a bad trade. So you're always trying to pick the direction that's easier to trade. And how do you determine that? You go back and look at clues. Okay, we're breaking old highs right here. So market's willing to do that. It's willing to accept these prices up here. which means if the market were to pull back, there's a stronger conviction to have people willing to help you in areas like this. But another example, let's say the market had only come up to here and didn't quite breach this high over here. Let's say it almost came up to it, didn't quite break it, and then pulled back. Not a lot of people are going to help you right here. Like this thing could just pull right back. But instead it did this, and so people are more likely to help us on something. Again, that's why if you were to trade the euro pound today, I would probably choose the long side. All right, here's the euro franc again. Again, for those of you that are just logging in or logged in late, we took a long position on the euro franc. We'll come back to this and talk more about it and just do a general recap of why we took this trade. But it's definitely not too late to hop in if that's something you want to do. Okay, and then the pound franc obviously is our other option when we're trading the banker's close. So this guy, couple of things, let me actually delete all this stuff going on here. Actually, quite a few things going on here now that I think about it and look at it, that we could discuss real quick. So this one is just getting crushed. And it started back here, right? Just absolutely demolished. And that happened yesterday. And it's just continued down. Now, with this one, you look at the more immediate structure points, right? What's going on over here? Well, you can see there's a little structure point right here. The market tried to get up to it, but it failed miserably, right? Like it tried to get up to this. And then the bears were like, yippee, better price. I'm going to sell right there. Boom. And it just got crushed. So when you see that, this should scare the pants off of you if you're a buyer. Okay. Like you should not, I mean, I think what happens to a lot of new traders, because I've been through this so many times, is you look at your initial reaction when you're a new trader and you see a chart like this is, oh my gosh, I'm at an all-time, not an all-time low, but I'm at a 2-day low right now. This is a great price to buy at because I'm at a 2-day low. That's not how Forex works, okay? Forex does not work that way, okay? There's a lot more that goes into it than just saying, oh, it looks like the price is low, right? And that's why I'm here to help you kind of understand that. So what we have instead is you have another structure point right here, right? A support level, and we just broke that. So your inclination, at least on the myopic view close up, should be looking for sells. Now you can expand this out a little bit more and see what else is going on, right? Yeah, and this happened yesterday. You had a structure point break right there. Several, this is also a break right here from this area. Basically came up to that and just kept getting crushed. And really, it's just not really respecting any demand that's right here. There's the little demand there. Sure, it paused last night around that demand, but it didn't really hold, right? So again, this should scare you if you're a buyer. And I guarantee there's a bazillion buyers on this right now. A bazillion. Like when I say bazillion, I'm saying retail traders. Retail traders are probably flocking to this, thinking this is a great buy right now, and they're probably just losing their accounts and I know this because if you go to Awanda, which real quick, since is my personal account, I have to move this over here real quick just to protect my stuff. But let me pull this tool up so you guys can see this. You guys are going to love this. So I was telling you, I know that the retail traders are selling this right now, and I'm going to show you exactly why. I know that they are. I think I've showed this to you guys before. This particular tool, let me pull it up here. Give me 1 second. So let's see. Yep. Oh, 1 second. It's still loading. Okay. Here you go. So now I can pull this over. so you guys have seen me. This is the tool I really like. This is Awanda's sentiment index. So Awanda is the second or the largest Forex trading institution, firm, brokerage, whatever. I think it's brokerage, probably the better term for it. They're the largest trading brokerage in the United States and Canada. Either they're the largest or they're the second largest. It's either between them and Gain Capital, which is Forex. Gain Capital's Forex.com, or it's Awanda. I'm not sure. They're pretty neck and neck. But you've got this tool, so they actually tell you on their position ratios where their clients are positioned right now, and you can see that 70% of their traders are outstanding positions on the pound franc are long positions. And that makes sense because you come over here, the price is coming down. The retail traders are getting smacked right now. They're buying this up and they're getting smacked. And we know this. We know this even without really even looking at that tool. You can just break it down by looking at the price action, and you can say, okay, you go to the more myopic view and you say, okay, well, I got a structure point here. Market tried last night, failed. That's a clue. What's another clue? This is a structure point right here on the 5-minute chart, 15-minute chart, broke that too. So again, when you're trading this, your view needs to be, I'm looking for sells. I'm looking for sells. Okay. My view is a little bit different on this Euro franc. Again, and this is the one we're buying for those of you that logged in a little bit later. We are buying the Euro franc right now because more recently we had basically a similar thing. Like this is basically that myopic structure point I was telling you about on the pound franc, but with the Euro franc instead. And we actually broke it this time. We actually broke it. So when the market dips into demand, that demand is more likely to hold because other traders and other eyeballs and smart money is going to look at this and say, hey, now I'm looking for buys. Now I'm not looking for sells. I'm looking for buys because we are breaking those levels, right? And I also like this one at the time that we took this. Oh, nice. We're up 36 pips right now, 0.9%. Let's see how far this can go. But I also liked this one when at the top of the hour because at the time we were closer to a lower Bollinger Band, which is the traditional setup. Like if you look at the rules for the banker's close strategy, which I've given that to all of you. If you don't have it, I can either put it in the chat box or you can email it to email and request it from me, and I'll gladly send it to you. It's totally free. So basically, this is a more traditional banker's close setup because you have a 5-minute chart and the market was dipping into the lower Bollinger Band pretty much at the beginning of the hour. Okay. Pretty much at the beginning of the hour, this was going on, and that's perfect. And I like the fact that there's demand at the beginning of the hour. The market was dipping into demand, into a demand where there was a break of structure recently. So this is about as picturesque as you would want it to be. The only thing that's holding this thing down, and we're positive nonetheless, the only thing that's holding this down is the fact that the franc is so strong right now, right? You look at the pound franc, pound is getting crushed. Pound is absolutely getting demolished right now. And subsequently, the franc has been strong. So you got the pound going down, franc being strong. That's why the pound franc is just getting demolished. The euro has been stout. Euro has been holding up this morning. But the problem is you've got competing forces. You've got a euro that's strong and a franc that's also strong. And so that's another reason why this hasn't just taken off yet. If the pound franc at some point this morning starts to come back up, I'm not saying it will, but if it were to have a point where it comes back up, the reaction of the euro franc will be much greater. Okay, so the euro franc will have the biggest gains out of that move than the pound franc will. So like even if the pound franc just pulled up, 10, 20 pips right now, the euro franc would be the better beneficiary of that move. So that's what we're banking on, and that's what we're holding out for this morning for this particular trade. And yes, I do hope that we can get kind of up into this area. I showed you on the 5-minute chart. This would be a good area to start taking some profits right there. So that's basically at $1. At $1. So that's a figure level right there. So maybe I'll just put them just below $1 as our target. But that would be a great place to target this morning. It looks like to me that this Euro franc broke below $1 last night, and it didn't really like it. It didn't like going below $1, and so now it wants to retest $1 right here. So I didn't really notice that. It's just kind of interesting that the supply slash demand up here was based around this figure level. I didn't really notice that until now. But yeah, so with that in mind, let's go ahead and place a lot of these targets. So we want most of these targets to be around $1 or just below it. So that's $1. And it's about 15 to 20 pips away. That's what you're looking at. Let's go ahead and just kind of scatter and pepper the market with these trades. So let's see, I was going to say, it looks like this pound franc is starting to come up just slightly, and the Euro franc has done better. Again, that's what I was saying is if this guy goes up over here, this pound franc, then the Euro franc will do double or triple whatever this guy does. At the same time, I don't have a lot of faith in the pound franc to come up right now. In fact, I think it may continue lower this morning. I think it's kind of a trap, honestly, to buy the pound franc. So that's kind of how you should start your mornings whenever you're trading this strategy, or really any strategy, is, hey, what are my structure points? Have they been broken? Is a question that should be asked every time you step foot into the trading platform and start taking trades. Have we broken certain structure points? Have we not? And then once you can kind of label where those areas are and where the subsequent demand that corresponds to those break-in structures, then you can go ahead and determine, are we looking for buys today, or are we looking for sells today, right? And that can always change. If you're a very short-term trader, maybe like a 1-minute chart type of trader, then yeah, your bias could change on the fly. I think when we're on a 5-minute or a 15-minute chart, that's a time frame where pretty much your bias is going to stay about the same throughout the day. When you're trading an hourly chart or a 4-hour time frame, and you're looking for those breaks like we have on some of our swing trades right now that we've got going on, those are trades that can last a week or two, sometimes more, right? And so, okay, also other note, notice how the pound franc has given back and has gone even further down. So has the Euro franc, because of because of the franc's sheer bruteness right now. The franc itself has been very strong, which has caused this to come down. But notice how this guy hasn't come down. He's only down 3 pips from the high he just made a minute ago, whereas this guy is down 10 pips, right? So whatever happens to the pound franc, if it goes down a pip, you're seeing the Euro franc maybe go down a pip as well. If this guy goes up 3 pips or a pip, you're going to see a 3 to 9 pip move to the upside. So again, we have definitely picked the safer trade to take today. This is a much safer opportunity. Yeah, much safer. This is a trade just so you guys are aware of. Hopefully we close. We've got 35 minutes to close here in the webinar. I'd love to. It's always my goal to close and make our money before we walk away. That's always my goal. Is to walk away with a profit before we end the day. But as you guys know, it doesn't always happen. So can you hold this trade? Which I'm going to grab another trade with a little buy right there. Can you hold this trade through the FOMC meeting? The answer is yes. And the reason why is because this currency pair is not as connected to the dollar's news event. You will see volatility increase on every single, all 28 currency pairs out there. You will see volatility increase, and on some you'll see more volatility. But every single currency pair will have volatility when that news release comes out. Jerome Powell gets up this afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern. He'll get up and make his announcement, and it should be a very direct, hey, we're raising rates 0.25%, just like we have for the last year. What I've noticed, just so you guys know, and it might be fun if you've got the time to actually just watch that news event. He has to be it's always so fun to listen to him talk. He always has to be very polite and cordial and careful and slow at what he says. He really thinks it's almost like he has his next 10 sentences planned out word for word before he answers a question. You'll notice it when you watch him talk. And it's because if he were to say something like, for example, let's say the Federal Reserve has plans to raise rates more than the market's expectation. He doesn't really want to just say it like it is and just say, oh, we're going to raise rates 3 times more than what you expected. What would that do to the stock market today or whatever, the bond market especially? What would happen there, right? So he's always a little bit more generic in his responses. But sometimes he'll drop a little clue, and those little clues can really affect the market quite a bit. And I've talked to you guys about this before about news events. I've been trading news events for 10 years now. And I don't trade news events, just for the record. Like, I don't actually try to execute trades through news events. To me, that's kind of like gambling. But I'm very aware of what the rhetoric is and kind of what's going on that way. And here's what happens if the market knows that, hey, we have an outlook over this next year, we're trying to raise rates, blah blah blah, we're going to raise them 2%, 3% over a year, the market will price that in as soon as they can, because they want to be at the cutting edge in the bond market before those prices actually happen. And I've mentioned this before. I think I told you guys I used to do like mortgages. I did mortgages for folks, and people would come to me a lot of the times and say, hey, I hear they're going to raise rates or something like that next week. I'd like to lock in my rate before that happens. And it's not necessarily a bad idea, but the thing that the consumer doesn't know is that when the speculation out there is that they're going to raise rates, when the speculation's already on Wall Street, it's already been priced in. The speculation is what prices it in. So on the day that they actually raise rates and it's to the expectation, you don't typically see some massive move in the market. Where you get the massive moves from a news event, like the 300 pip moves, the 400 pip moves in an hour, those types of trades, those come from where they announce, I'll give you an example. Let's say they say they're going to raise rates 0.25%, but instead they raise them, 0.5% or more. That's not to the expectation. That's not what the market priced in weeks ago, months ago. And so now we have to reprice the market to what's now the new expectation, right? So that's kind of how news events work. And because that can happen, I don't like to trade news events because, you know, you don't know, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to go against the expectation, right? Um, what I do trade is once I know what the outlook is over the next, year or so, or 3 months or whatever it is, then I can take that fundamental knowledge and start thinking of, okay, this is going to send the market probably this direction. So I need to start thinking about trades that are going that way. It's the same thing when you're looking at the charts. When you're looking at the charts, you're saying, okay, where do I have my structure point breaks? Okay, we got breaks here, we got breaks here. This means I need to go long or I need to go short today. And it's a similar process, but a little bit more macroeconomic and way more broader and longer term when you're looking at news events, because you're thinking, oh, okay, so we're in for another year of higher rates. What does that mean to the dollar? Okay, we're going to get a strengthening dollar. Okay, we're going to get, um, that kind of thing is the narrative. And that's what you're looking for, is trades like that, right? That's kind of how it works. Okay, guys, this is looking pretty good. This is really brewing right here. You can see the little accumulation going on right here. It's if you do a 1 minute chart, I'm sure it looks like a ascending triangle. Yeah, I knew it was going to look like this on the 1 minute. So here is a ascending triangle. Typically these break to the upside. They don't always, but I think since we've already done our homework on the higher time frame, and we already have a bias to the upside, most likely this pattern will probably play out because we've already done our homework. So at some point you should see a breakup. And I should happen. We got 30 minutes here, so it should happen in the hour, which would be awesome because then we can take profits and make money in the webinar. That's always so fun to do. But yeah, let me know if you guys have questions about news events, fundamentals. I always like to talk about those kinds of things. Oh, here we go. Look, it's starting to break out. We'll see if it can follow through. It may not happen all at once, but yeah, it'd be awesome if it could. By the way, guys, I am headed to Miami this weekend. Oh, here we go. Wait a second. Here we go. This is awesome. We called this. This is so fun. It's always so fun when you like do your homework and like, hey, that's probably what's gonna happen. And so far, so good, right? I am going to be a little patient, guys. Like I think we can be patient to not necessarily be greedy, but yeah, I think we can be patient and let this trade ride a little bit. Um, I think maybe I will take some profits though, down here closer to these highs. So that's what I'm willing to compromise. I'm not going to close anything yet. Hey, same to you, Jason. Good to see you. By the way, I don't know if you logged in late, but we are long on the Euro franc if you want to hop into it. It's not too late. We are profitable already, but I think there's still more to go on this trade. And you can see also right here, just on the 1 minute chart, again, same thing. You're breaking little structure levels, right? You got a break right there. This is the next area of, can we break this right here? It looks like we're about to. And then, if we can do that, definitely going to go to this up here. So I'd like to close out of some of these. If it gets to here, I'd like to just book some of these profits. Something more realistic that can still hit in the hour. But yeah, I was telling you guys, if you have questions about news events or if you want to talk macroeconomics, I am your guy to have a phone call. I would love to have a phone call with you, just talk about those kinds of things. Super fun to talk about. And I'm not saying like I'm an expert at all. I'm just saying I know my way around. Let's just put it that way. I know my way around. Yeah, this looks good. This really does look good. It's flickering. That's a good sign. It's like, hey, are we going to do this? Are we going to do this? Yeah, if we can hit these up here, it's going to be a plus 100 pip day, maybe 200 pip day, which would be awesome. It may want to, let's see, on the 1-minute chart, maybe it'll want to retest some of this area again before it breaks up. So we'll see. I always get my hopes high that it's going to break right in front of me. So I don't want to set your hopes too high either, but it could. It definitely could. I just know that, again, we talked about this. Do we want, which direction would you rather be right now, long or short? Oh, definitely on the long side would be the easier trade to take, the most likely trade you're going to make money with today, right? Oh, I was telling you guys. So yeah, I'm headed to Miami this weekend. So I thought I could do it, but I am going to be pretty much at an airport during our bankers close trade on Friday. So on Friday, I won't be doing the bankers close trade. And I'll be on the beach during the basic training class on Friday. So if we want, I can, rather than canceling it, I can still do basic training at a different time. I'm even down to do it sometime tomorrow before I go. If some of you were kind of planning on going to the basic training class on Friday, so if you want to just either text me right now or shoot me an email just saying, hey, like I'd still like to do basic training. Just let me know a time that you still want to do it. And I can do it before I go, or when I come back, I can do it, which by the way, so that same thing. Monday, I'm still going to be gone. So I I'll probably, just depends on what my wife's plans are. I don't know what my wife's plans are for the whole thing. So um I'll probably still be trading the banker's close if I can, if I have my laptop out, which if I am, I'll just text you guys what I'm doing on Telegram. But here's what I typically do for those of you that are kind of new. I like to teach you guys um, obviously how to trade this on your own. I like to have my 3 charts up and I like to try to find breaks of structure. Okay, who has accumulation? Do we have a good price to buy at? Are we at an upper lower Bollinger Band? That type of thing. So if you guys want, take the trade on your own on a demo account if you're new to doing this, and then just text me on Telegram over this weekend letting me know what trades you took, just so I can see how you're doing and we can kind of have a conversation. I can give you some pointers and stuff, and maybe you'll just trade it perfectly and I don't really have any pointers for you. That could happen too as well. It's kind of straightforward sometimes. But yeah, so as far as the banker's close goes, I won't be able to host it on Friday and Monday, but I know a lot of you have been banking on the basic training class, a lot of you that are pretty new. So, again, if you were planning on going to that basic training class on Friday with me, then just let me know if there's a time tomorrow that works best for you, and I can just rearrange that class to be hosted tomorrow. If not, I can do it just again sometime next week. So just let me know. All right, guys, this looks pretty good. So it's just on the cusps of breaking here. All I'm looking for is just a candle, just a solid candle that's just like this. Give me one of these and I'll be a happy dude. Just give me one of those. There we go. I just hit one target right there. Let's see if we can hit some more. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Just hit a few more right there. Yeah, Jason, we can have a conversation about that. Um, on which prop firms you guys can trade with. So I think most of you know this. Oh, there goes another one. Nice. Just hit another target. So I got 28.5 pips booked today. I've got another about 50 unrealized still. We'll see if it can continue. But so far looking good. Um, yeah, so I think you guys know this. I got funded with my Forex funds, or not my Forex funds, with FTMO back in um November. And so that was my first like prop trading account. I know it sounds kind of funny, but I wasn't really aware of the different big time prop trading accounts where you could get $200,000 until kind of recently. And so when I say recently, like over the last 6 months, I kind of really got into prop trading firms. I had heard about it for years, but I always kind of thought it was a scam and I just didn't really want to do it. Which speaking to that point, prop trading firms can feel like a scam if you're first of all, if you're not good at trading yet, which, and I mean yet, I don't want you to think like you're just not good because you will be good if you're not good yet. And even good traders, by the way, as you guys know, I have losing days, right? I have losing trades. Some days are just way better than others. Other days are not as good. Um, it's just how it works. You can't win every single trade. If you were to win every single trade, that's the problem with Bernie Madoff. Did some of you guys watch that documentary I mentioned on Netflix? If not, watch it this weekend. It's so good. That Bernie Madoff documentary on Netflix, it's really, really good, well made. The problem they had with Bernie Madoff was he was quote unquote like making money every single month like clockwork. He was returning 1% returns, 2% returns every month to his investors for decades. Um, you can't do that in the market. You're breaking the financial speed limit. Um, you can't do that. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is you're still a great trader even if you have losers. The concept is how can we limit those, right? And how can you get your profits to exceed those as well, right? That's the whole concept. Anyway, so which by the way, guys, the first time I ever did an FTMO challenge, I failed it. So I lost $1,000. Like I actually paid the money, I put in my credit card and I failed, right? Like I lost the money, right? So, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it will happen to you, but it definitely could. And in all likelihood, it probably will at some point, especially if you try to get funded with a lot of different companies, right? So yeah, you can definitely fail challenges pretty easily. And that's why I always tell everybody before you pull out your credit card, make sure that you pass an FTMO challenge, a free trial challenge, at least once. I would recommend that you pass one at least 2 or 3 times consecutively. And and the free trials are only 14 days. So if you can pass 2 in a row, that's like a month's worth of trading. If you pass both of them, I'd say you're doing good. If you really want to make sure that you're set and you've got your systems in place, your risk management in place, pass a third challenge and make sure you do it in a row, because that's how it would be with a normal challenge, right? With a normal challenge, you have 30 days to make a 10% return, typically an 8 to 10% return with most places. And then phase two is you have to make a 5% return, but you got 60 days to do it. That's how most challenges are set up pretty much everywhere. And so that's equivalent to basically passing 2 to 3 free trial challenges with FTMO. So that's why my recommendation is try to pass 2 or 3 in a row. If you can do 2 or 3 in a row, back to back, you're probably ready. Probably, and I'm not saying that you are though, because I mean, at some point you got to pull the trigger and just pull out your credit card and do it. At some point you just got to do it, in my opinion. Or the other thing that you can do is just simply just save up the money, say just, start with a couple grand to trade on your own. That's how most people did it in the beginning. My mentor actually, some of you probably know him from the company I used to work for, if you were involved in that company, but that's where I got involved with trading in the first place. But these guys, or this guy, he took out a student loan when he was younger, and he basically just traded a student loan. Honestly, I think he was breaking the law. I don't know. I don't think you're supposed to day trade a student loan. That's not what it was meant for. But anyway, that's what he did. Um, so, and yeah, he ended up making that work though. So I mean, I'm sure there, for every story of success, there's probably 5 others that didn't work out doing the exact same thing. So again, I don't recommend that. I don't really recommend borrowing money for day trading. I don't. I really don't. So just for the record. But what you do is up to you. Whatever you guys do is up to you. Okay, what else was I going to say about that? So again, you have to kind of ask yourself, is a prop trading firm worth it? To me, it was worth it because, again, I wanted access to a lot more capital than I could have gotten my hands on. If you only have a grand or two to trade, but you're good at trading and you know how to do this and you've passed multiple challenges, in my opinion, for me at least, it was much better to put $1,000 down on the potential to get a $200,000 trading account than to round up $200,000 from like friends and family or the bank and try to trade that. That's far more stressful to me than passing a challenge, right? So, and I think most people agree with that logic. So that's why passing challenges is probably the best way to get access to funding. Plus, if you do fail a challenge, it's kind of a great learning experience. It was for me. So, I mean, yeah, I'm sad that the first time I did I lost my $1,000, but I changed a few things up. I learned from it. It was a down payment on my learning experience, and I got back in and did it again. The second time I did an FTMO challenge, I passed. And FTMO is great. They have a 100% track record at paying people out. You can't find a single review where no one hasn't, at least I can't find one where no one hasn't been paid. Everyone that I know that's funded with FTMO. I've actually got some friends I'm going to go meet up this weekend in Miami that are FTMO traders. Miami's kind of like this Forex, like, I don't know if you find the biggest Forex YouTubers, they're all in Miami, right? Miami's kind of like this US Forex capital. London's the Forex capital of the world. And then, in the Middle East, where's that? Oh, Dubai is going to be your Forex capital there. You know, Probably Cape Town, South Africa is your Forex capital in Africa, right? Singapore in Asia, right? So these are some of these just general areas where you'll find a lot of Forex traders. It's kind of a niche. Where I live, there's not a lot of Forex traders. It's not common at all. People look at you and you're like, what are you doing? Right. But I like it. It gives me kind of I like how I have some privacy that way with some of the things that I do. And it's kind of mysterious. Like a lot of people don't really know about it. But yeah, anyway, so back to that. Yeah, I do know quite a few people, not where I live, but in Miami and a few other places that are funded with FTMO. And yeah, I like it because it's the traditional company, a little bit more expensive. They don't offer a promo code. The rules are straightforward. They're the ones who kind of set the guidelines in the industry, and everyone else has kind of copycatted them. Like everyone has a two-phase challenge, right? Pretty much everybody has a two-phase challenge, which you guys can do instant funding, right? Anyway, so I have so many thoughts, Jason. I'm so sorry I'm rambling here, but let me kind of finish what you were saying. For it, my Forex funds is great too. They only require an 8% return instead of 10% on your first challenge. They have unlimited retries. So if you don't pass the challenge, as long as you ended your account positive and you didn't have a hard breach in the rules, you can get another account and try again without having to pay the fee again, which is great. So my Forex funds is great that way. And those are the only two places I've done challenges. Okay. But it's only two places. But the other place I'm interested in, I've actually got a client, he's not here today. He's with Surge Trader. I get a ton of ads for Surge Trader. I don't know about you guys, but I think they are in Tampa. I think they're in Tampa. I could be wrong, but I think Tampa is where Surge Trader's at. And I mean, it seems awesome. Seems great. Probably looking at them. E8 Fundings in Dallas. So there's a lot of American companies you can go with. I actually worked for one of these companies. That's where I started. Over here in Utah, actually. Now they're small fry. They're way smaller. And they don't give out $200,000. No way. No, the most I don't want to say too much, but the access to capital there is not as much, right? So, but I am funded with those guys too, because that's my stomping ground. That's where I kind of got started. And they're great. They're great for what they do. They have their own little niche and it's great. But yeah, there's a lot of other companies out there that are doing much bigger funding accounts, and I think it's a cheaper option. The thing is, a lot of these places don't have a lot of training, and I think they're smart. Just little side thought. I've got so many thoughts. I think a lot of these prop trading firms are smart to not offer a lot of education, because if for some, I could see how, like, let's say somebody, they didn't learn, they lost a lot of money taking like signals or trades in an account that's theirs. I could see why that would make, that could be a problem, with in terms of the relationship with the clients, I guess. So I don't do that. I don't offer you guys funding. I don't take your money, which, by the way, another thing too, I know you guys follow me on social media. I get people who copycat my Instagram probably every week right now. It's insane. It's actually crazy. I actually had a guy from Brooklyn, New York call me this last week and say, "Hey, I was about to send you like some money. I know you were asking for it. I just wanted to call your business to make sure you're legit." And I'm like, "Dude, don't send this guy money. I am not that guy. I know that guy's probably using my photos. He's using my information. So I will never take you guys your money to invest. That's not in the business that I'm in. I'm an educator. I'm trying to be helpful and give you guys insights. I'm giving you an opportunity to watch me trade. That's my niche. And that's where I feel like I can offer the most value at this point in my life and my trading career. And that's what I do. So if you ever get a solicitation from something that looks like me, and I'm asking for your Bitcoin or something like that, it's not me. So, and let me know if you ever catch something like that, so that we can report that and see if we can get on to whoever's doing that. But this doesn't just happen to me. I got tons of friends in Miami who are traders and educators too, and they have the same problem. The company in Linden, Utah that I worked for over here down the street, their head trader, who's a very good trader, um, and huge influencer, got a lot of following. And he was my original mentor. He gets copied almost every day, right? So it's just crazy what people are doing right now. And so just watch out. which watch out, guys, when somebody sends you like a direct message on Instagram or Facebook or something. All right, guys. So this is looking good. I mean, obviously we booked some profits. We're still up 34, 35 pips here. I am still holding out to see if we can grab up to here again. What I'll probably do now that we've kind of filled out the market just a little bit, I'm going to see if I can get the market to come back to that high it just made. And we'll book a lot more profits right there. But it's a good day. It's always a good day to wrap up on profits, right? And I'm glad we took some right there. Hopefully we can, again, hopefully we can take a few more up here. We can just slice through these take profits up here and it'll be a great, great day. But yeah, as far as funding challenges go, plus I would recommend, I know Jason, you and I chat through our one-on-ones together, but if you guys are going to take a challenge, I do recommend maybe chatting with me. There are some places, let's see, who do I not recommend as a funding? Let's see, a place that doesn't give you at least 5% daily risk. So if they're saying you only get 3% a day or 4% a day, would not put my money with those kind of guys for funding challenges, because you want it. That's where most people fail, by the way, is that daily 5% risk, and they know that. So if a place is giving you a more strict rule saying, hey, you can't have this 5% in data risk, then I would run for the hills on that one. Any place that what's another thing I would watch out for? This is the biggest concerning thing about my Forex funds, but I don't think it's a deal breaker, is the fact that once you are funded with my Forex funds, you have to wait a whole month to get funded with them. So you have to go through the grueling process of actually getting funded, and then they're going to make you wait a whole month. And so that's my biggest problem. So places like that, I feel like the pros of my Forex fund outweigh that con, but to me that's a big deal, because guys, once you get funded, let's get you paid. Like, let's get you paid, and most of these places will refund your fee once you're funded. So the whole goal is just to get your first paycheck. At least get your first paycheck as soon as possible, and then, from there, just kind of trade it in like normal at that point. But I would just try to make a couple grand or so on your first paycheck. Make sure that you get that money showing up in your account, and then go from there. But it just takes a long time with my Forex funds to get to your first paycheck. All right, guys. So in recap, let's actually go to TradingView. So obviously we've made money today on this Euro franc long, but we're still going to continue to hold. Most of my targets at this point, I'm just being a little more realistic with myself. It's basically up to there, so the top of this most recent high. That's kind of where I'm going at this point. Again, we feel comfortable with the long side into this afternoon because this is the permission that we've been granted, a break of structure over here. The market has broken that, and so we have permission to continue to buy. And if the market were to dip again back into here, the buying opportunity is just even better. So don't be alarmed if that does happen. I don't think it will, but if it does dip back into here, I would utilize that as an opportunity, to be honest. And it's only 10 pips away. It's not like a huge deal, but our targets should all close out within 5 or 6 pips. So if we get another 5 or 6 pip move to the upside, we should be out of this. Also, as a reminder, for those of you that trade the COT report, we do have COT report tonight. That's going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Mountain. If you guys want to come to that live, if you can't make it, that's fine. I'll also get the recording uploaded as soon as I can. But yeah, and then if you don't come to that, that's totally fine. We'll have bankers closed tomorrow, and then I'm going to take an early weekend. So, well, awesome, guys. Appreciate your attendance. Thanks for coming, and we'll talk to you soon.